So, now that we are digging into the 1920s, one of the groups that we need to talk a little bit more about are women in the 1920s. Most pressingly, we think of 1920s women as being very liberated and able to just go do what they want, but we're kind of going to ask the question today of how liberated were they exactly? They were obviously gaining some new rights, but they weren't as free as women are today. So, the first big thing is one of the biggest vocab words is associated with the 1920s, and that is the word flapper, or plural flappers. So flappers are this ideal woman from the 1920s where they just look a particular way and they're acting a particular way. So there are shorter dresses that come to around the knee, shorter hairstyles. So you'll notice a lot of these ladies with much shorter hair than we're used to seeing. They are drinking and dancing and partying. So there's a lot of kind of scandalous behavior going on. But that's not every woman. That is definitely just a small group of the population of females in the 1920s. And most women are caught between the old traditional roles that women have been in and these new expectations or these new ideals that are coming around with the flapper. So you're definitely seeing a lot of women that are kind of stuck in between the old view of women and this new view of women. What do I do? Which one am I? Just very stuck between the two. So obviously women are able to act a little bit differently, but that's just not their everyday normal lives. Their everyday normal lives are mostly working, either actually in a workplace or at home. So let's talk about those ladies who are actually in a workplace. So women are getting a lot more work opportunities when we get into the 1920s. Women are still working in factories, which we've mentioned before, but they're also working in offices. They're working as secretaries. So there's some new avenues that are being opened up to women. However, they're still going to face a lot of discrimination in the workplace. Women, no matter what their jobs are going to be paid less than men. There's also very specific roles that women will kind of go into, so they can't go into every career out there. There are several that are specifically like dominated by women. So if you think a little bit about like medicine as a profession, when I say nurse, we tend to picture a woman, but when I say doctor, we tend to picture a male. And that's obviously how it was in the 20s. It's starting to get better today, but in the 20s, that's definitely how things were. There was a very gendered differences between jobs. Now, at home, women were seen as the ones taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, like that was their role, okay? Now, there are some new products being created in the 1920s that are going to help to make housekeeping quicker. But what that also is going to lead to is the standard of house cleaning and like housekeeping is also going to go up. So you have these cool new inventions that make things quicker and easier. So we're expecting women to use those all the time and have like spotlessly clean houses, which hadn't really been an expectation prior to the 20s and honestly is going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. So progress is obviously happening. Women are definitely more liberated in the 1920s than in any of the decades we've talked about so far. But there's still quite a lot that they're going to need to kind of get through to get to the point that we're at today. And before they get there, there actually will be a little bit of backpedaling in like the 1940s and 50s where we see a little bit less freedom with women because of the tighteningness or the strictness of gender roles that are going to kind of keep being pushed in our society. So obviously women are having a little bit more liberation, but they're not quite to where we are now yet.